Hi, so nice to hear you.
On mute. I was gonna say, Rob, it's a good thing you didn't start trying to make out like you were on the camera.
Hey, that could be part of the show, divine masculine, divine feminine, it's like
Oh my
feel the
gosh.
planet, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know we're early, but I saw that you're on. I thought, I'm just going to take this opportunity to say hi and, catch
Yes,
up.
you're so beautiful. Your hair looks wonderful.
Well, thank you. I curled it and I usually don't. So it's like, it feels like very poofy. So,
Oh, really?
but yeah, which is kind of fun. It feels kind of 80s, everything is going retro anyway.
Yeah.
So,
You look luxuriously divine and feminine. How
well,
about that?
that's we're embracing our divinity, right? I think more people need to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you are going to be helping people do with your retreat. You're going to help people embrace their divinity. I think so anyway.
Most definitely. I was just thinking about that because it's been a journey of little things clicking,
Right.
little things
Yeah.
clicking on the inside.
Yeah.
And
Is Victoria joining us or
she is,
okay.
she
It's
is,
early, so it gives us a chance to
yeah.
talk.
I'm just super early. I was just sitting here
I
and
I like it.
kind of writing some notes too, because I noticed like, oh yeah, see, you say like a lot, or I just wanted to have my thoughts organized, so I was like writing out some stuff. I know I made it
You
sure.
know, I figure we're just gonna let spirit work through us,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's so funny. I found you a few months ago. I saw one of your postings. You were doing you just went to a medical conference and you were talking with another woman. And you resonated so strongly with me, what you were
Wow.
saying and, and just the way you're saying it and just you're passionate about it. And, I looked you up and, the way I think you were in Germany at the time or you had just been in Germany. So I don't know how old, I mean, I think the video was pretty, recent when I saw it.
Mhm.
And I just thought, it doesn't matter if, like millions of people watch a video, all it takes is one. And
Yeah.
I was so affected by what I saw. I knew I had to reach out to you,
Thank you very much.
and that's why
Wow.
I wanted to friend you. And I'm like, I like this woman. It's like, she's science and spirituality. She's got the yin and the yang going for her. She's balanced. And I felt this is what the world needs. The world is so askew right now. It's like we need more balance. And just by listening to you, and you guys were having fun, you were talking, but it's just you were so connected and you were so
It's all
grounded. Yeah. And
it's all accidental. Yes.
but it was like spirit was working through you,
Yeah.
and I thought, wow. And I thought, well, how many other people did you touch, that it's like, I reached out because I knew I had the show, and and I'm like trying to figure out, how do I find my truth in all this, and then when I saw your retreat that you have coming up in May, that's my birthday week, so
Oh
I made plans.
yes.
Otherwise, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. But I knew how to, so I knew how to reach out to you. So thank you so much for doing this.
Wow, no, thank you. I'm excited to get interviewed by someone because it's so funny because last year that kind of was the thing. We can go to the office.
Right.
We're always inviting people to the office, talking to them about their business and what they do, and hooking them up with people. That's kind of that was my self-appointed title, to be a conduit
Yes.
and to
Yes.
connect people.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, well, how am I going to do it? And I just started doing it with Zoom, and I started the Mozone.
I like
And
that.
then I just started hearing about certain problems. Like I was on the internet so much, and I was like, wow, people are really mad at men, and men are really mad at women. And so we
Yeah.
really started to do a lot about men and women.
And that made me think of one of the things you're going to be doing at retreat is womb healing. And I
Yeah,
was thinking about that because it's not just women who have to do womb healing.
right. That's why we call it sacral healing,
Right. Right.
because it's
Right, because so many men are so angry at their mothers, or so angry about, and they don't know why, they just are. And I think it's a lot of ancestral trauma that's never been healed, and it's just like goes down the generation. And so just the whole concept of healing that chakral sacred area,
Right.
a lower chakra, the root chakra. And I thought, how beautiful is that? And you're doing it. You're putting it
Yeah.
out there.
Well, part of what Victoria is going to do is actually taking you back to your birth and healing any trauma from that. And I believe that goes back 2 or 3 generations. So any trauma that your mother had or your grandmother had during their birth is passed down to you too.
Right.
So it's exciting and amazing. Like my gift really is more words, and
right.
Victoria's healing.
Now you were in the Army, right? The U.S.
Yes.
Army. So you're a veteran now, right?
Yes, I'm a veteran.
All right. Woo! All right. Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
So you're a clinical scientist?
Yeah, medical lab technician. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So that's very right brain. I mean, that's very methodical. That's very, you're being very, focused and, in a lot of ways, very linear. And, what you're doing at the retreat is very non-linear. So how was it they came to start combining the two?
It's always been something. It's so weird because I would be at work and I could see everybody was basically like dying at work. We're literally dying. And I really got to this point where I said, you know what? We're working every day to pay to live somewhere where we barely spend time.
Right.
We have children. Our children are being raised by the school and daycare, because my son has to go to daycare before school and after school. And then you get this little bit of time with them. And now you're supposed to try to teach them something or raise them. And they're basically not being raised by you.
Right.
And me personally, I was on an extreme physical decline, even with my memory and stuff like that. So I knew I needed to stop working. But I would go around and I could see, I would stop people and be like, do you have a headache? Are you all right? And they'd be like, how'd you know? Because I'm looking at their facial cues and things. And I'm like, seeing people who are limping or their back is hurting, and you could just see all the pain. Right. And I was like, wow, we're literally dying in here. We got to get out of here. And I could just see everybody was suffering. I didn't exactly know what to do about it. Yeah. But, you come closer and closer to your own healing. Mm-hmm. And then, going to the chiropractor, going to acupuncture, realizing that my body was starving and my brain was starving. Mm-hmm. I'm not building new brain cells. Right. And my neurotransmitters are dying. And I was starting to see myself really crash. And so I was on my own journey to heal myself.
But the thing is, you chose to do something about it, though.
I'm sorry?
What was it that made you choose to do something about it? Because a lot of people don't do anything about it until it's like, last minute, too late type thing. But it sounds like you really decided to change that path.
I was pushed. I ended up medically retiring. I had to leave. I literally had to leave because if I see myself working with blood materials, if making a mistake, that's, detrimental to someone's life. Right. And I would catch myself starting to make mistakes. And I was like, I can't be here anymore. This is dangerous, know. And and then physically too, with the Army, with my back, my neck, my legs, all these physical problems, I was pretty much forced to look at it. And it did cause depression. And I was, I'd be sobbing sometimes because you'd think like, oh, I'm only 40 years old. And like, you can just visualize your life with a wheelchair. But when I medically retired, I still just didn't want to lay down and just, take pills. I wanted to still be a viable person. Right. But this is too, because I had a son. So it's like, no, I can't afford to lay down and just die. I have to go do something. And then my little busy brain, I always thought too, before, like, you have your real job so that you can go do your dream job. And I always wanted to write. And I ended up in these book projects. So I kind of got swept on into some book projects. And
you have several books out.
Yeah. Several. Collaborations. Most of them are collaborations, but it allowed me to work with so many women. One book, we had 150 women working together.
Wow. But that's life. Life is collaboration. So that's
Right.
beautiful. What was that book with 150?
It is called The Daily Dose of Declarations.
Woohoo! I like that. All
Yeah,
right,
so
daily
those
dose.
were daily
Yeah,
affirmations.
right. The power of words.
Right. I'm gonna make sure that I have those because I sometimes I still have a hard time remembering like the title. Gosh.
Right.
And the best one was the Beauty in My Mess, which
Ooh, I like that one too.
that one was about the first time you've been in love. And so then I got to discuss being in love with my son because I was like, that's the first person I ever truly loved because
Right.
you can't divorce your kids,
Right.
like you can
That's
get mad at someone else and leave them or that's when I really learned like true forgiveness. Like I can't be mad at so
yeah. Mamahood.
mama, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
That's,
great part.
wow. So you did a retreat last month, right? Did it
That
happen?
retreat also got pushed back.
Oh, because of this.
I think, well, what happened was I was trying to help coordinate and I was going to participate in it and I was more helping to coordinate
Right.
because that my gift is the words and I know how to make a theme. I know how to make a party now. I know how to make
Right.
it exciting. But I think what she wanted it too soon. She didn't give it enough time. Like
Right.
kind of have an idea for it in February and then in March, you can't really do that. Not with a retreat. You need more time.
Well, and then I think a lot of people are still kind of uncertain about what's going
Afraid to
on.
travel. This
You
is
know,
kind of what's going on too, because
right.
Randy is one of our instructors and she's in Canada. So
Yeah.
now she found out they're extending the lockdown 30 days. And when you come back, you got to take a COVID test. So it's kind of like we shall see what happens.
Yeah. Well, you had mentioned possibly doing it all online. So is that
Right.
an option?
That's also consideration. And then still
Mm-hmm.
a portion of what she was doing was more teaching. It wasn't necessarily hands-on. And now if you want to do a meditation stuff, you can do that. You can do
Online.
that online. So she was
Right.
going to join us online possibly.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So we're still figuring that part out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the main thing is as long as you keep that energy going, stay in that
Right.
flow, because it is all about energy. I know the in-person retreat is all the more special because you're like 24/7,
Right.
but
Because
even
that was the opportunity for people to bond with new
right,
people and like-minded people and
right.
do some getting to know you exercises like sitting in silence. I really
Yeah.
like that
Right.
exercise.
And having fun and allowing yourself to be vulnerable with somebody else.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it's so interesting because it seems like these last few months, it's like we're all feeling very vulnerable, whether it's like, you're shut down. I mean, people have lost their jobs. Businesses have shifted completely. Now it's like, do you take the vaccine? Do you not take the vaccine? Do you get tested? Do you not get tested? How do you protect your child? It's like there's this huge uncertainty that is making people feel uncertain. And I was thinking about that this morning before I knew I was going to talk to you. And yesterday was Good Friday. Christ. I don't know if you are Christian or you read the Bible or not. I'm open to all religions. I was born and raised Catholic, but I was really thinking, he gave his life for us, and just the
Right.
idea that he was, brutalized and then nailed to the cross. It kind of feels like we're all going through this dark night of the soul. It's like everything that this whole country, this whole planet is experiencing, and it's like we all have to say, okay, who am I? We're all being given that chance, especially with this lockdown, to really figure out, who am I? How am I being loved? How am I being of service? How am I contributing to the love energy of this planet when everything seems to be going against, the hurting, the hurt energy, the pain energy, the fear energy, and I think what you're doing, which I love, is you are contributing to the love energy, which is the healing energy, which is the I get to know who I am energy, which is so exciting to me because we need so much more of that.
I like it because I mean, last year it was like a huge spot. It was just a huge spotlight. And then it's just, with so much turmoil, it just is getting darker and darker and darker. And it's like really shining the light in a dark place.
Right.
Because I was saying to my friends too, if you're not firm in what you believe, this is really a hard time.
Right.
Because everybody's coming out with answers, but people, if you're not rooted in your beliefs, you could be following the wrong people.
Right.
There's so many people just talking, but not necessarily, the right people, not necessarily the right thing. It's really, being rooted in your beliefs and definitely giving out the positive, because I started just taking videos of me feeding a horse and people were so excited. When are you going back to feed the horse? And it was like, I'm like, wow, okay, let me get up and go feed the horse because these people need it. Like,
people love horses.
Yeah, they do. But then they want to see some good news besides all what's going on. People want some good news.
Well, I think the good news is we're still here. We're still alive.
Yeah.
We have the choice to decide how we want to feel. We have the choice to choose love energy. We have the choice to always know who we are, and allow ourselves to love the parts that we don't like, and going back to your retreat, that's what you're going to be.
Love the parts you
don't like, and figure out what those parts are and why don't I love that part of me, and give yourself the chance to, heal it, so it comes to wholeness.
Forgive it. And what if it never changes? What if it never changes? I like to tell people that. What if it never changes?
Yeah.
You still have to accept it. Like, my dark side and my light side, my good side and my bad side, I have to like them both and just try to balance them so that one doesn't take control.
I know, because we are in this planet of polarity. I mean, we have North Pole, South Pole. It's like talking about the cycle of life. I was thinking about that too. It's like when the sun sets, there were Indians who believed that, the moon ate the sun, so in a way that was like a death. So every night they had a death, so then every morning was a rebirth, so I thought, wow, what a great opportunity.
I know Victoria would love to talk about that because she does the flowers. So that's a huge witnessing of the cycle.
And flowers have such
there's some flowers that die every day.
Right.
So
how did you meet Victoria?
Man, it's so funny. It's such a roundabout thing. I was in a singles group for something in Orlando, and I met a girl named Rebecca. And then Rebecca, she was like #1 fan. She was on my liking my Mozone stuff and always joining my lives. And then she had a group where we talk about politics, and she calls it positive vibes only.
I like it.
But and then I just started to get to know Victoria. And then I didn't realize, like, oh, I'm surrounded by some really gifted people. And then I found out, that she had that company. It's in the bottle.
Right.
And then she did, Bach flower treatment. And she taught me about Bach flowers. And
I definitely want to ask, what exactly is Bach flower treatment? I'm not too familiar with that one.
I'll let her tell you. It's amazing.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's, see, people do oils, but Bach flowers is not as much talked about.
Right.
And one thing that Randy would have been able to talk about too is her tree meditations. Have you heard of that?
No. What exactly is that?
God, you can talk to the trees, mama.
Right.
So Rob taught me about this too. Before you cut the trees, you can talk to the trees. Basically, it's kind of like even how you pray for your food. You pray for your food because you thank it for giving you nourishment, because you had to take the life of the food. So you can talk to your trees. But you can actually like meditate with your trees and ask them to take away your depression or your pain, anxiety.
Wow.
You can meditate with it, the life surrounding the tree, you're in communion with it,
Mhm.
you know, when you're in their presence.
Wow. That's
And
so awesome.
and they can talk to you. And
I agree.
imagine some of them been here for 300 years, or I know I have one in my yard. It has to be, how old, Rob? 150? About 150 years old. Like, and then I start to spend more time with the trees, realizing, oh my God, they've probably seen people born, they've seen people die, they've seen every storm.
Right.
Like this entity has been alive this whole time. So I just became obsessed with trees, kind of.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome. Well, and then their roots too, underground, they have that whole connection. So like one tree, like say here in California, could actually communicate with a tree in South Carolina, which is absolutely incredible. You know how
It
that
was
can
a
happen.
doctor who hooked the tree up to a lie detector test. I don't know if you saw that.
No, that sounds interesting.
So he put two trees in the room and he had six people. Each one of them had a note. One person had a job to kill one of the trees.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Okay, yeah, go
And
on.
then, and so the other tree, when that person walked into the room, the lie detector went off the chart and the tree started screaming when that person came in the room.
Oh wow, that's pretty.
So that is amazing because they can communicate. So they're
Right.
communicating around us all the time.
And they're probably thinking, oh my God, what's going on here? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's like, come on, Lord. It's like, wake these people
I
up.
know. There's so many movies with living trees, like Lord of the Rings, the walking tree.
Hmm.
And so I've been, you know, we had a park here and I saw this one tree and I said, man, it looked like that tree is a dragon, or this tree looks like a Gila monster, or these trees look like, you know.
Right. Did you love seeing shapes in trees? Yeah. The faces
Yes.
and, then
And then I saw that and Rango and I was like, wait a minute, there really are walking trees. And then I found those trees that I posted the other day that are literally walking trees. They can move. Did it say 20 meters a
wow.
year? Something like that. They can move
Oh,
20 meters a year. So
wow. That is so awesome. Well,
there's
trees are
just so much
amazing.
we don't know that it kind of annoys me when people say it's not true. And it's like, well, unless you've been here for 1,000 years, I really don't want to take your word for it. So there was this one tree, it was like a mile wide, and some people
Well, I saw that post where it was like it looked like it was cut off, and then someone said it was a rock. But if you even go back to the Bible, the Nephilim, there are these huge giants. So yeah, why not have these trees that are like 10 miles high? If
right.
so it makes sense. They
And if where would the story of Gilgamesh come from? Where would the story of Zeus and come
mhm,
from, the Titans? Where would the story of Jack and the Beanstalk come from?
mhm.
So my theory was that tree was the giant's tree, and that giant cut the tree down so Jack would stop coming up there to take stuff.
I like that. It very well could be. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of cutting the tree down so the giant wouldn't come down. No, he cut the tree down so that you wouldn't go up there and steal his little golden eggs, right? So
Yeah.
Victoria told me a story the other day too. She said that the giants in their veins, that's where gold comes from,
Ooh, that's interesting.
which
That's
would
kind of
make
scary.
sense with Gilgamesh too. Why would they tie him down? Like,
Right. To steal his, but that means they would kill him to get his blood, but wouldn't it be interesting if they did that and killed him to get his blood, and then when it's like blue on the inside, but when it comes out it's red. What if it comes out and it's like no longer gold?
gold.
So they killed him for nothing. It's
I
like,
know we go around from what I'm seeing or what I'm hearing, like even with unicorns, like they said, oh, they would ground up the horn
yeah,
for the magic of the
yeah.
horn. So it seems like human beings like to destroy stuff. So
Yeah, but it's like, so if you think about, okay, I'm very familiar with Dolores Cannon, and she calls this planet Earth School, and souls come here to learn lessons. So in order to learn lessons, you have to know polarity, which means you have to know like all the dark stuff too, and
right,
so, and how do you truly know the light unless you know the dark?
right,
And so it goes back to the balance again.
yeah.
And I like to think that, it's like to have this balance within. I'm not talking about crazy stuff where you're hurting people or killing people, but you can live in harmony and respect each other and have that balance. But it
Right.
doesn't sound like humans, though, does it?
Well, there might not be the balance in the individual, but there's a balance in the collective because all is necessary. And so this is what I'm seeing too, like, when it comes to Cardi B or the little Satan shoes things, and I start, last year everything was an alarm and it was eye-opening, but this year it's more like, okay, well, all of this is necessary.
Yeah.
I was talking to Shalom one day, and I was like, oh, I was talking about the homeless people, and she was like, yep, all of that's necessary so that it reminds you about your own existence.
Yeah.
It helps you all, be aware of your own existence. It helps you examine yourself. So even the suffering of other people is necessary. Your own suffering makes you better. Because I tell people too, like, if you met me when I was in my 20s, you might be like, I don't like Erika. She cusses too much, she drinks too much, and she's mean, or she, whatever, all the things that I was going through when I was younger, that all helped me become who I am now so that I can help other people now.
Right.
So we still another cycle of life because we're going, start off all innocent, then you get all hard, and then you go out into the world. Like I like to explain it like being the prodigal son, how he had it all and then was just put out into the middle of the world, tried everything, did it all, and came back and was like, okay, I had enough of that now.
Yeah.
I think I know what I want,
And you have to be given the opportunity to figure that out.
You do. As
right
much
now,
as we want to hide and protect our kids or whatever,
during
this time, their development, we can protect them. But at some point, they're going to have to make a choice.
Right. And hopefully they do.
And they do.
Yeah.
And so it just shows you even more, all is necessary. You never appreciate how you feel today. Like today you feel good, right? You don't have a headache, your back's not hurting. Right. But if you have that headache or you have that pain, then when you come back to normal where you're feeling just regular, you appreciate just feeling okay. You know what I mean? Okay, right. Starts to feel great because now you know pain.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of that seems to be like a blanket statement for the entire country right now.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, because we could have been going to the beach the whole time. I've lived here for years and I probably went to the beach twice. Well, last year when I couldn't do other things, right. And you like, okay, well, let's start to do some stuff that we haven't been doing. You said you were working so much, so you're too tired to go out and you were too tired to do this, too. So now you have the opportunity. Go to the beach. You went to the beach like 8 times last summer.
Oh, awesome. Good.
Going places. I mean, I've been in Florida all this time. We just went to Casa Daga last week, this spiritual town, and just driving to a different town to go look at something. Something that's been down the street this whole time that you never go see or appreciate because now you have this opportunity. Yeah, it's interesting.
And you're learning more things about yourself as you're learning more things out there, which is yeah.
I learned that all those spankings for running into the woods and getting muddy. Because I was looking for fairies the whole time. I was always fairies and magic, and I'm going to go in their woods and find a unicorn. So I was like, the other day I said, oh my God, I've been looking for magic all my life. That's what I was, that's what all those spankings were for. Because I couldn't back with my shoes all muddy.
Well, and it seems like nowadays, if you let your kids go out there, they may not come back. There's this whole fear factor that goes with it too. But how wonderful to have that experience of just playing in the woods, just and finding fairies and that wonderful energy of imagination and having fun. And I'm sorry you got spanked. Your mom's
No, I mean it was so fun. We went to the fairy gardens and I know, was I like a child, Rob? I was like a little kid.
Yeah, good. I think more people need to let that little inner child come out and play. How different.
Everything, I was like, oh my God, let me take a picture of everything. But I said, oh, let me not post it because I don't want to post everything and then there'll be no reason for people to go. I have to let them go for themselves so they can see it.
Where was it?
It's right out of Orange City, Florida. It's a place called Casadaga.
Casadaga.
I'm saying it right. And it's not this well-known place, but I was looking up those ley lines, and it's supposed to be a place where there's ley lines and vortexes. So most of the town, there's a little downtown area dedicated to psychics and healers, and there's a crystal store. They got some beautiful houses. They got a little fairy garden, and then they got a little Buddha garden too, where there's a little Buddha and a bench, and it's cute. It's just this cute place.
A little feel good energy.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you guys there just for the day?
It does. Let me tell you, it doesn't take very long to see the whole thing. It's like 2 hours. You were like, okay, we got it. 2 hours.
Awesome. Well, good. What a great experience. Now,
I guess if we had stopped,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I guess if we had stopped, like maybe saw some healers or took a class, it would have took longer. But it's maybe like a 2-block radius. 1 block or 2 blocks? 3 or 4 blocks, you think? I must be talking about New York blocks. Your blocks, blocks. Yeah, I guess he says 2 or 3 blocks. Yeah.
Now, the retreat is going to be in Asheville. That's the idea. And you were saying that that's on ley lines.
Right. There's a resort. Well, there's a temple not far from there too. Sri Samosvara Temple. So they do Vedic knowledge there. There's a temple not far. There's places all around. There's mountains and places where you can go mining. You can go mining for gold, rubies, gemstones. So it's just surrounded by beautiful mountains and
nice. So zen.
And there's supposed to be a lot of energy there that they actually did compare it to Mount Sedona. Is Sedona Mount Shasta? Is Mount Shasta?
Yes, Sedona in Arizona. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, they compared it to Sedona.
Yeah,
California, right? Okay.
Yeah. This is my friend Lana. Well, because we're going live, and I invite people to join in. So you say hi.
Lana, I can see you. I didn't have the screen opened up all the way.
So we're still waiting on Victoria. Lana, are your mics off?
Oh, you got your plant life in there. I just got some plants in the house.
I'm a plant lady.
Bring some energy in the house.
I talk to plants. Well, you're talking about people talking to trees.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I talk to plants, and George Washington Carver, sexy woman.
Sure I'm decent. I know. Make sure I'm decent. And everybody's burning their bras again, so we. Someone said,
I go for comfort.
Changes will be with the new earth. I said they're going to get rid of underwear.
Right? Constrictions. Just get rid of constrictions. So okay.
Is that big?
No, it's not Victoria.
No, that looks like Lana twice.
And Lana, you're on there twice. Hi there.
Hey. I'm on here twice.
Yeah, we see you twice. Why is this not working? Technical difficulties, but that's okay.
I'd rather live in the truth than wallow in a lie.
Yeah, but I think what's happening right now is we're all being faced to face our truths, and more stuff that comes up like this, with people getting sick or facing hard choices. You're being given an opportunity to figure out, okay, who are you? And what you're doing is you're helping people do that, and I think that's really beautiful. And so I love your videos and your postings, and you just keep on doing what you're doing. Let's try this again.
Thank you. I don't know what. Yeah, it's whatever runs through my mind. It's like,
right? Because you're a conduit, right?
Yeah.
It's just being that conduit. Hey, Lana.
Hi,
there she goes.
Okay. See, I'm sure Victoria will be joining us any minute now. Yes, I put it out there so people, if they wanted to ask questions or listen in. I'd never really done that before. I thought, okay, well, with everything, being the way it is, just giving people an opportunity to say, okay, I want to chime in or I want to be a part of it. But I'm definitely going to be posting this on YouTube. And like I said, it just takes one person. Like you affected me, just by listening to your post.
Thank you. That's so cool to know.
And just
Because sometimes you
one.
look, you're like, I only got 12 people watching me today. Like,
I don't even look at the numbers anymore. I just,
yeah.
I don't look. And, I figured we just put it out there and have fun and, just, be in our truth, and that's right. And that's what we have to do, and if
and I feel like too, people are waking up in waves. So next week, next month, next year, if somebody sees it and it helps.
Right. So you just
No,
gotta keep doing it.
Conversation.
So go ahead. Oh,
now I was going to ask, so are you doing film anymore? You are, because you have something in production right now. It's in post-production.
Well, yeah. I wear many hats. I'm a mom. I have a day job. I work in a law firm. I'm an actor. I'm a writer, a screenwriter. I am working on my very first film, The Broken Path, which is a short. I'm an artist. And I think when you tune into that creative energy, there's not just one thing. It's like I'm not one thing, because as an artist, and when you tune into God energy, it's like you do whatever God directs you to do. And it feels kind of weird talking about God openly like that, because people are like, oh, what do you do? You know what I mean? And it's not God in the church sense. It's like God is universal love, is source. It's, the life energy in life is constant, and it's constantly flowing. And, when you are limited to what you can do, you find new ways of expressing that creativity, which is, so I'm getting to the point now where I feel much more comfortable talking about spirituality and, more of what's out there. And I like talking with people who are doing things to help, other people learn about it. And it's not just, it's part of everything.
Right. It's getting to the point where if it is offensive to you, then good, because you need to clear my space.
Right.
I'm really getting to the point where I'm okay with people being out of my space. Because if it bothers you, then maybe you don't need to be in my space.
Right.
Or maybe I'm meant to stir something up in you that either turns you left or right, Which I had someone literally tell me that was my job, that my ancestors told me that I'm supposed to stir up the anger. So either you'll be, feeling strong. Because I said, in the Bible, they talk about being lukewarm, and I quote a lot from the Bible, and people get irritated by that too, because, you can be spiritual and you have, if you believe in Christ consciousness, then you believe in Christ teachings.
Right.
And he talks about being spit out because you're lukewarm. But I say people aren't even lukewarm. They're frozen. Because you go to church and there's no love in you. There's nothing but judgment. And I posted the other day, I was like, do people want there to be a hell? Because I got a conversation with a lady. I said, there is no hell. Even the Catholic Church just said there's no hell. And she was like, basically, she told me I was going to hell because I said hell. So I said, do people just want there to be a hell so you can tell people they're going there? Like, is that what your whole thing is? You just want to judge people?
Right.
A way to feel superior.
Yeah. Well, so many people are already living hell. They're by choosing to be frozen and choosing to be stuck, that is their own hell.
And not willing to learn not one new thing, not one other thing. So I do say stuff to, that I know is going to be offensive, but if I feel in my heart and know that it's true, then I'm going to say it. And if it makes you, you know, judge me, then so be it. That's my job.
Right.
I tell a lot of people too, you wouldn't even like Christ if he was here. You wouldn't like him either. Yeah. He would not be your friend. You would not like that. Because, you know, it's funny how things work.
It's interesting. What I think is interesting too is like everything that happens, it's like it's meant to happen for us. You know, even this whole pandemic thing, you know, even making the choice of to take the vaccine or not to take the vaccine, you know, to get angry or to not get angry about it. I think it's all part of, you know, our own soul's evolution. You know, where are you going to take a stand? You know, how far do you have to be pushed before you finally say, this is me? You know, and I think a lot of people just get swept up in being told what to do, you know, because then they don't have to face themselves.
And that's why I say people need to be root deep. That's it. That's why I say people need to be firmly rooted, because if you don't know what you believe and why,
right?
Like I have medical information in my head. I have the Bible in my head. I have teachings in my head that I base my decisions on that. And if I can't be confident in what I have inside here and inside here, that's a huge problem, because now I'll just do whatever. I can't be mindless. I can't be, mindless and allow, I hear misinformation. We hear misinformation all the time.
Right. And you try to say something that's, you know, different, you get shut down. You get banned from Facebook.
But what if you never have confidence in yourself and someone told you it was okay to let your kid ride his bike in the middle of the road, but you already know that that's not right. But because you lack the confidence in your own decisions, you allow someone else to tell you what is right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now you endanger yourself. And that's basically the bottom line. Yeah. We have to know. You have to know. You have to be firm in your beliefs. And I think too, some people are lucky and they have great parents and they're like, oh, my parents are great. And they can follow and listen to what their parents say. But they never grow outside of that. And they're like, well, Mom, what should I do? Dad, what should I do? And they're completely reliant on the people around them. Right. And it's nice if you have good people around you, but even those good people can be misinformed and still lead you down the wrong way. So by the time I got 30, I mean, I was this person who was like, my mom said this and my mom said that. And I was really like, my mom was the Bible, you know what I mean? In a lot of cases. But then I was still not happy on, with the decisions I was making. And I said, you know what, if I mess it up, it's mine. So let me mess it up based on my own decisions. Right. Now I can't blame anybody, because a lot of people are blaming everybody like, well, it was your fault that my car broke down, and it was your fault that we broke up, and it was your fault that I didn't get this house, or it was your fault that I lost my house. And it's all based on you was listening to other people and never firm in your own. That's one big thing about the sacral chakra, because that's I am. Mm-hmm. I have to know in my gut. I have to trust my gut. That is the second brain, and it was given to you for a reason.
Well, how can people start learning that though? Because it seems like everything like in social media and advertising goes against, it wants you to be somebody else. It's like, get the butt implant, get the lip implant, do this, do that. How do we start teaching our children or even ourselves how to trust that I am? How do we start trusting that, that inner instinct that God gave us?
First thing to do would be to examine. And so, I was working with Hannah Hanley, and one thing that we did was separating the voices. Because are you hungry? Or did a commercial come on? I noticed we were doing this the other day. We were watching a show. All of a sudden, I wanted honey buns and I wanted chicken and I started to realize, like, wait a minute, these are all things that they put inside the television show. And all of a sudden, I'm hungry. And so we have to start examining, why do I want this? Why do I need this? What will happen if I don't get it?
Right.
And then, of course, there's also meditation and understanding, I am talking to your gut, listening to your gut. Just taking the time to turn off these other voices, turn off these TVs and radios. And that's another thing, like Rob loves music and I love music too. But I also know that music is still telling me things, like all these love songs is like, I can't live without you. You can't breathe. And you like listening to, oh, I can't. No, you can breathe without people, okay?
Right.
You can. Stop, so I'm like I'm a firm believer that, watching what you take in and examining yourself, spend time with yourself, just try to understand your thoughts. And then, we do childhood healing, going back and healing that inner child. And you start to think about the situations, because from the beginning, that first 7 years, you're being programmed based on your environment.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, and for me, great example, everything was, well, my mama said this and my mama said that. I remembered everything my mama said, everything my grandma said. My sister was like, I don't remember her saying that. I was like, girl, weren't you listening? Like grandma said, and that's very strong programming.
Right.
It's very strong. And it's not that it's bad, it's not all bad, but you have to understand what's yours and what's real and what's, what do you want to keep and what can you afford to let go? And then understanding what serves you. So I know I ask my spirit guides to tell me, to remove things that don't serve me. So something might trigger me today, and I'm like, oh, why did I have this bad feeling? Or, and then somehow a childhood memory might pop up, or a youthful memory pop up where I'm like, oh, this is where I got that belief from. Does it serve me anymore? And allow myself the ability to let it go if it no longer serves me.
You're giving yourself the time to do that, though. So many people feel embarrassed, or they think, oh, why should I do that? Or they don't even think about taking that time for themselves. They just get so swept up in the programming of what society wants to feed them. So how can people know that it's okay to take time for yourself? To go on that nature hike, to take 10 minutes to meditate or pray.
That is a huge problem. That's a huge problem, because there's so much guilt. We're just so guilty, especially as women, because we're so always taking care of someone else.
Right.
And so we have to understand too, once we become depleted, we're no good for anybody else or for ourselves. What can you pour into somebody else if your cup is empty?
Right.
It's funny, because I was in the financial services business too, and this is something I used to tell people, because people say, like, well, they're here to put God's kingdom on earth. But if you're broke, how can you help build God's kingdom if you're broke? And so that's financially, morally, spiritually, emotionally. If your cup is empty, what can you give to anyone else? So you have to give to yourself, your emotional bank account, and your real bank account. What I'm saying? So you got an emotional bank account and a spiritual bank account. And so you have to, it's okay to say no, and not, always devote all your time to other people. Right now I have a good friend that's in the hospital, and being susceptible to diseases is a part of what? Lack of sleep, lack of proper diet, not drinking enough water, worrying. Worrying lowers your vibration. It opens you up, the same way that food and water and rest does. So you have to get a staple on that. If your body is sleepy, I used to be really big on the energy drinks too. If your body is sleepy, it's because you need sleep. You know what I mean? So it's not something that you can ignore. You cannot ignore. I was never big on pain medicine too. Like me being a person that was in the military and in pain, the idea of getting those cortisone injections in my knees, I thought, well, now if I twist my knee or if I do something that, I have no warning now because I've suppressed the pain, right? That pain is a warning. These things are warning. Your body is giving you signals. So if you always putting Pepto-Bismol in there and ignoring the real problem, if you're taking pills and ignoring the pain, we're just programmed to just keep on going when we don't need to do that. We need to pay attention to those aches and pains and the little quivers in the stomach and the unsure feeling, because this is our body talking to us,
Yeah. So it goes back to, knowing yourself, allowing yourself to know yourself. I'm going to check in with Victoria. I don't know if she, interesting. Because 9:20, did she email you by chance, or has she? Interesting. Not that I don't enjoy talking with you. Okay, so we're taking this little break in between as we're trying to get Victoria on the phone. This is So Zoom In. I am Sophia Louisa Lee, and I am speaking with the First Lady, Erika Simmons, as she's reaching out to her partner for a retreat they are planning in May, the Cycle of Life. So Victoria hopefully will be with us in a few minutes. She is all about flower power, using the essence of flowers to heal, to really raise your frequency. So I'm really hoping we can get her on. But it's like we just go with the flow. Whatever life happens, we just keep going. Isn't that right, Erika? Erika, you are muted, so I can't hear you at all. But it's like, we just go with it, and no matter what comes up, we just stay in that flow.
And I noticed that more and more and more. If you don't get it, maybe you weren't supposed to have it.
Right? Everything happens for a reason, and we learn from it, or they'll keep happening until we do learn from it. Then we'll learn something else. But what I liked about reading Victoria's website was, she really connects to flowers, and like we were saying earlier, flowers have such a short lifespan, sometimes even just within a day, and they're so magical. And I realized that when people get sick, what do? You send them flowers, and it's like they have this innate healing energy, just by being a flower. Or you stop and smell the roses, and that's kind of coming back to being grounded and feeling good. So it's and then, they have so many significant meanings, and so I think it's fantastic that she's into that, and she's has studied it and really knows her flowers.
Even for self-confidence,
right?
I can imagine like a flower for self-confidence. I'm like, give me some of those flowers.
But just beauty. It's beauty, which is, if you can see beauty in everything, how different life would be. In all things. Because every soul is beautiful. We are all a soul. We're just wearing these different avatars for this period of time. But we're all the same that way. We literally are all one.
Right. And if you believe what I believe, you've been here a few times, you get to come back as different, you get to try out different suits.
Right. And that's something else you're going to be talking about at your retreat, a little past life regression, right?
Yeah. I think, I don't know, have you seen the movie Wreck-It Ralph?
Yes, I have a daughter.
Well,
we know
we talked about polarity.
Mm-hmm.
And here's Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph, there's polarity in Wreck-It Ralph, because on Wreck-It Ralph, he's the bad guy. But when the game is off, which I consider being back in the between worlds or in the astral, we're going back to source and hanging out like, okay, what are we going to do next time? That that so truly just bad or good? Or this is the role that they play during this lifetime, like being homeless or being abused or whatever it is that's happening in this lifetime. It serves the collective so that we can witness. We have to witness different things. And so we make contracts. So even with my son, I've been here with my son before several times.
Soul groups, right?
And so when I wrote with the beauty in my mess, and I said my son was the first man I ever loved. It's strange that I wrote that, not really knowing that I've loved him in the past. So when I'm talking about this lifetime, I'm like, he was the first man I ever loved. Like, yeah, I did love him before. He's been my uncle. I've been his mom. I've been his father. And I've been married to him in another lifetime. So I was like, oh my God. Like, I did a past life regression where I was a man, I was a white male, and I had a wife, and my wife died, and I witnessed the pain of my wife dying. I mean, you would think, this can't be real. This is just my imagination. But I moved forward, and the pain that I felt was more pain than I felt in this lifetime, that I was literally sobbing her death. And that just can't be made up. Right. And I said, oh my God, how can you live with this kind of pain? That's how I felt. And I just couldn't imagine living with that much pain. And it just was not a good end for me. I had drank myself into a stupor and basically went insane. And one thing that stood out to me, well, besides this, that's how from that pain I felt, I knew that this was true. But one thing that I noticed, that in the house that I have now, in the house that I had in the past, that I set my house up the same way. The front door, the window, and my desk. And I was like, even in my past life, there was the front door, the window, and my desk. I had an office with my father. It was the front door, the window, and the desk. And I was like, boy, I'm consistent. I kind of wonder, like, throughout your lifetime, who are you? Are you this? You're not necessarily this.
Right.
But there's a residue that goes through your lifetime that what you really are carries through from lifetime to lifetime. And I thought it was amazing. And I still was a workaholic, because even though, like, here I am medically retired, I stay busy. I'm never bored. I'm always giving myself an assignment. So I was a workaholic then. I'm kind of a workaholic now. So
right.
That personality is there. This is always different, but the personality is there.
Will you be showing people how to have their own past life regression, or is that something that you'll be doing at the retreat, or just talking about it?
We will discuss. So one of the first things we're going to do is the getting to know you, and then we're going to do some sitting in silence so that individuals can connect and try to understand, like you're saying, being vulnerable with another person, understanding their humanity, so they can understand this existence. We are not separate. One person's pain affects everyone's pain. That joy that you give affects everyone. So that's the first night. The next day is vision. So I do vision boards, and I work with spirit with these vision boards, because a lot of people do some cookie cutter vision boards where it's just, I want and I like. Well, I like to ask why. Why? Who will it affect? What will happen if you don't get it? What will happen? And then why do you feel these things will make you happy? To try to get you deeper, but also to connect you with the vision and why vision is so important. Because if you don't visualize your life, that's the first line of creation, is in the mind, and then it becomes material. So walking people through that. Then We have a death doula that's going to discuss the cycle of life, because to start your new life, you have to die to some old things. You have to let some things go and do a release. And then later on that evening, we'll do a release. And then here comes Victoria with her flowers, renewal with the flowers.
Okay, you have to tell me about the Bach flower therapy. I mean,
Wow.
that sounds so fascinating. I mean, I know I was hoping that she would tell, but whatever came up, is fine. But if you could just kind of give us a little idea of what it's about, please.
Wow. Flowers have individual flowers have lots of power. They have what you need. And so what she does is you soak them and you get the essence of the flower and you make a tincture, and you wouldn't believe it. So things like confidence. I mean, you can go by zodiac. You can go by male, female. There's so many formulas you can put together. I couldn't. That is hers.
That's
Definitely hers.
Victoria, wherever you are, we know we'll just have to get her back.
We'll have to come back for her sometime, but the amazing thing is the power of those flowers, that essence of that flower can help you get a jump start to renew your life. So she's going to help you. She's giving away a formula. So during the class, you actually receive a formula of renewal. So you can start your new life with confidence, positivity, and joy. So she has a special mix that she's putting together that you get, and she's going to explain it. But then also she's going to take you back to the womb. So we're not really going to, there's only but so much healing you could do with 20 people in 3 days. So it wouldn't be, and then that's something you'd have to plan on, individual services, because like me, I was crying for a couple of days when I did my past life reading, because that was so traumatic, experiencing the death of my wife, that I was just, even just telling my sister about it, I was just like sobbing.
Right. You were releasing energy that had to be let go. And I think that's probably why you had to have that experience.
Yeah, I would not want to try to do that with 20 people. It would just be too much. Like, you don't know what door you're going to open. So that would be definitely something we would discuss, but not actually try to do. It would be too much.
Do you think that there's a way to have that kind of experience, but to know that you as Erika now can be detached from experiencing the trauma of whatever the experience was, or the joy of it? So whatever that high emotion was, whether traumatic or incredibly pleasurable, that you can witness it like you're watching a movie. Do you think something like that is possible, or do you think by seeing it and feeling it, you're reliving it?
I guess I only know the way that it was done for me. I'm not really sure you can observe it, because I know you can go back to your inner child and you can observe your inner child from above. And not every time that I've done that, where I look back at myself as the child, that I was emotional. I was not, I felt the relief of hugging the inner child and giving her a kiss and telling her, you are a good person, you are okay, It really just depends on what it is you reveal at that time, what it is you see. And that's the thing, we don't know what you're going to see.
Right.
We don't know how traumatic it is. Maybe you died peacefully in your sleep, and maybe you had a wonderful life, but maybe you were murdered, or maybe you had an accident or some sort. So it would be hard to say, because everyone's so unique, and their past lives are so different.
Right. Are you familiar with quantum healing hypnosis technique, QHHT?
Yes.
So I know Dolores Cannon, the whole, she would take you through past life regressions to help heal the current situation. So I just think it's so fascinating, energy, because energy never dies. It's constantly moving. So even when our physical self dies, that energy goes somewhere else, transmutes into something else. So whatever, like we were talking about earlier, your soul just holds on to that energy, and I think maybe it's looking for a way to transmute into something else, or there's
So
so
I
many
had an
possibilities.
amazing Rhea Slay and Sharia and Shalom and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and that was the amazing epiphany that hit me, is because time is not linear, like we say. Your 8-year-old self is not dead. That timeline is still exists right now.
Mhm.
So these timelines all exist right now. There is where there's the reason why the possibility exists to go heal it, because it's
Right.
still happening right now.
Uh-huh.
And so now with quantum healing, I can move over here on this railroad track. I like those pictures of the sacred geometry, how the lines touch. And I told my sister, because there's things my sister says, I remember when we did this, and I remember, and I was like, I'm not sure that was me that you're talking to, because this is my own thing too. This is me number 36, and you're talking to me number 9. And me number 9 has jumped. When those lines hit, we change places and we're all over the place. So the memory you have, me number 9 is over here on another timeline. So I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, well, maybe it's because that's not the same me right now,
Right.
since we're moving through these timelines. But definitely that 8-year-old me exists, and that me from the other lifetime exists, because that's the whole it's the whole wonderful thing about being able to do quantum healing is.
Well, it's so great that you mentioned timelines, because even what's going on right now, with the government, with, world economics, with, the vaccine, it's like we still have the opportunity to choose a timeline. What timeline are you choosing? And it goes back again to know thyself. Who are you? What are you capable, based on your choices? I truly believe, there are opportunities where you don't have to get sucked into that timeline that's going to, turn you into a zombie. I truly believe there are timelines that you can truly be the free person you are meant to be. What do you think about that?
That's what I'm choosing. And I call it, I'm just saying, choosing my own reality, because, what happens on, the Grammys does not affect my universe. My son doesn't know who Cardi B is. He might know her from a meme, but he's never heard her songs. And so those people don't exist in my universe right now. They don't. So she can't make me angry, or these new shoes, whatever. I saw it and I was like, check in, check back out. That doesn't affect my home. I tell people too, like, there's a family in North Carolina right now, just imaginary family, that lives out in the Appalachian. They don't own a TV. They're not affected by the Grammys, by the vaccines, by who's the president, because none of that matters in their world. It's what matters to you in your world. You choose that. You choose it every day, just like you can choose to be angry, and you can choose to hold on to the past, or you could choose to, and the wonderful thing, having brothers and sisters, I can see it in our existence as well, because there's things that I have a sister, she remembers when I was 8 years old, when I was like, I have no clue what you're talking about. Because, and then I have another sister who I remember certain things and she remembers none of it at all. And her perception of what happened is completely different. Her perception of my reality is different. And so it just shows you can choose what you want to hold on to and what you want to let go. It's getting to the point where now, as we watch TV, or we might reference something, a star or something, like there's people we can't even remember their names. Like I had to look it up, like short comedian. Oh, Kevin Hart. Could not remember his name. Could not remember his name. And I'm starting to remember less and less of other things, except for the things that are important to me.
But you know what those things are. You know what's important to you.
I'm firm in those things. The rest of that stuff, like I don't know. Yeah.
And I think it'd be great if more people knew that they are allowed to know what's important to them, and what's within them, and it's not, it's not getting butt implants, I mean?
Right.
It seems to be a big thing nowadays.
What's happening is, I think people don't understand the definition of consent, the universal law of consent. You don't have to consent to digesting things.
Right. Okay, universal laws. I like that you bring that up because so many people aren't aware of these universal laws. Is that something that you'll cover too in your retreat, maybe, or?
Some of them we will cover because they pertain to the certain classes, but like me, the law of reciprocity. I started the Mo Zone to give to people because if you give to others, ultimately you're giving to yourself. You reach your own goals. And you're living by the same law because you introduced me to being on your show, not so that you could gain anything, but then in return, I'm going to give to you as well. You know what I mean? So there's a universal law of consent, the law of compensation. You might not get paid for your show, but eventually the work that you do, the universe is going to find a way to pay you back. And so those things, I'm deeply rooted in that. And those are things that I would discuss in my vision board class. Yeah.
Well, I think it's so important to be able to have a dialogue, for people to just really, when we have these, going back to thoughts, everything is a thought, but when we can see beyond so much more than what's being offered, when we can see beyond what is, and it's funny that film short I'm working on right now, it's currently being edited. That's the whole thing, see beyond what appears to be, what's really going on, and not necessarily on the outside, but taking it within. Who am I? What and why? Why am I doing this? Why am I choosing that? And when I saw your video, that first one, I was so inspired by it. And I knew I wanted to meet you and talk with you, just because you had such truth. And I live in Los Angeles, and it's saying that people live their truths would be really hard. Everyone seems so caught up in other things, and I think it's more important now than ever for people to really come and say, this is who I am. And so to have any kind of dialogue about that. And I think, your retreat is a great opportunity for people to discover their truths, just by learning about these different modalities that can help heal them. Because like you said, every time you heal yourself, you're healing the planet. I believe that. And it's just so important. So
it's funny because people want to change the world. Like they want to look at this and change it, and look at this and change it, and point fingers and change it. When the number one thing that you could do is start right in here. Exactly. Eckhart Tolle, he speaks about that. I mean, everybody that knows, they know that it has to start with you. Exactly. And even too, helping people, like maybe I did help somebody with a flat tire, but I'm not sitting there like this, like, okay, I'm expecting you to pay me. It takes me back to that scripture, like it's even in the Bible, do every job as if you're working for the Lord. So if I'm at my job, I'm not looking for them to pat me on my back. God will compensate me. The source will compensate me. So I'm not expecting compensation from each man and each woman, but source will compensate me. And then that's been like a huge thing in my life. Like I'm firmly believing in that the universe compensates me. And that's not always in money, because people think abundance in money. And,
so much more
that's part of it. But, last year my sister said, I was kind of worried about you because you were like talking about you want to be a millionaire, and some strange things happened. Some strange people started coming into my life, and it was a lot of quid pro quo of, well, what do you want? And it was, there was some innuendo behind it. And my sister thought, well, she said, well, I thought that's what you wanted. And I was like, no, I'm not willing to give up my soul for monetary compensation. That's not what my life is about. And then I started to wonder too, so whether you have $1 million or whether you have the money you have today, do you have everything that you need right now? Can you still have a wonderful life and not have $1 million or $10 million? Like, could you still have a wonderful existence? You could, because it's what you put into your life on a daily basis that's
Are you happy?
that joy. Are you happy?
Joy is everything. Yeah, live your joy. What is that to you?
And that would be living your purpose and
getting over the guilt. Let's
and
go.
I feel guilty about everything. That is a joy. And that's a big thing that I like to help people with, because I had a friend approach me yesterday and she said, I didn't do anything for myself yesterday. I just went to bed. I said, well, you went to sleep. That was good. You didn't stay up all night. And so even a nap, that's why I put even a nap is self-care. So whatever it was that your body called for, don't feel guilty. Because I used to feel guilty about taking a nap.
Right.
And, because I was raised on that punishment system too, like, well, I was going to give you this, but I'm not going to give you that because you did this. That because that was done to me as a child, I do that to myself as an adult.
Yeah.
I can't reward myself like, oh, well, you can't have this because you didn't do that. And I do that to myself like, you're not under punishment anymore. Your mom's not here. It's okay. Like, you don't have to do this anymore.
Good thing you caught it and you stop it. It's like you're aware of it.
True. Even at a vision board class, I had a man ask me, he was like, so how long should I look at my board? Should it be 10 minutes a day? I said, stop making rules for yourself to mess it up. Like we give ourselves things to fail at. It's so funny.
It's like, yeah, I agree with you completely.
Right. Yeah, just take a look in it. Okay, I saw it. Boom. Okay, yeah, we're good. No, it's not. Right. I think that, how people used to spank themselves on the back with the little,
They do it emotionally.
Yeah, we're just always punishing ourselves.
So we got to stop it. Just stop it.
I said, you think God, you have a child, would you tell your child to go lash themselves 100 times on the back? Would you tell your child that? No, you love your kid. You wouldn't do that. You'd be like, oh, give me a hug. Oh, hey, don't do it again. Move on.
There you go. Hey, Lana, can you hear us?
Lana? Yes, I can hear. Yes, I can hear you guys, and I'm enjoying the conversation.
Do you want to ask anything?
I was gonna a couple of the questions that I was gonna ask Erika about the retreat. Is that your name, Erika? Yes.
Yes.
Lady Erika.
Yes. The first lady.
But you can call me Erika. I'm not like a bully like that. I know you go to the doctor's office and there's like the nurse will say, doctor, and I'm like, well, he's my patient, so I'm not calling him that. So I'm not like a bully like that. So yeah.
But a couple of questions that I had about the retreat, you already asked, Sophia, so that's good. But Erika, so you have a website or a practice? You do past life regressions? Is that what I'm understanding?
I don't do it. I had my own done. By Matthew John. Matthew John did mine, and okay. Yeah. So I'm not in that realm yet.
Okay.
I'm still a student at this point. Like,
gotcha.
I've studied tarot, so I'm pretty good with my tarot. But then, other than that, I'm really into vision boards and coaching. I help people, and this is what I was gonna say. A lot of people don't have friends with open minds, or maybe they're friends that don't give good advice. Right. Like, we're surrounded by people who, they're just doing it the best way they can. And I noticed that I had a life coach, that it was like, wow, I got a life coach. And basically that's like my best friend who I go to for advice, right? So I decide, and that's something I've been doing for people, and incorporating business advice in there. Like, oh, well, where should you go to get your website? How do you get your logos? How do you create? So I help people create their life. Like, what is the life that you want to have?
Nice.
So coaching through the vision board on what, building the life that you want for yourself.
What you deserve to have.
That you deserve to have.
So it's a spiritual life coaching, basically.
Right.
Spiritually based.
Spiritually based, yes.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
What
So
I've really been enjoying the conversation. It's a lot of topics that have been coming up in my life lately. So to hear you two talk about different things, I'm like, spirit confirmation. Yeah, that's exactly. So I'm enjoying.
And anything deeper that I don't do, that's why I have Women of the Stars. I got people, it's like having my own basketball team.
Yeah, that's why we have to reach out, because what can help someone else, and what they know can help you, and it's all this power grid.
Mm-hmm. So do you have a website?
Power Grid, thefirstladyerika.com, and then I have my link tree, which I have to look at that because I don't know why. Okay, so it's the link tree and then / the First Lady Erika. So, and I'm a believer in this. Like sometimes people can get a little bit greedy and a little bit scattered, but do one thing well. A lot of us, we're multi-talented, but do at least one thing well. So I'm staying with what I know. And when I'm comfortable, I'll move on. But other than that, like I know I have a network of spiritual healers they all have different talents. And some of them do salt baths, and some of them do readings, and some of them do past life regressions, and all kinds of, the methods of healing are so vast.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
So then I just, believed in sharing that information with other people. They say, know what you know what you don't know, and know who knows what you don't know, that type of thing. So, and that's exactly it though. I consider myself a conduit. I don't have to do everything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, that's so very awesome. Well, Erika, thank you so very much for your time. I greatly appreciate. We've talked almost 90 minutes, and just feels like it went by so fast.
I love it. Yeah. You should see what the after party looks like. So whenever we go live, you see us live, and it'll be like sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, like. But then afterwards, we're like, okay, the camera's off. Now, what do you want to talk about? Like, oh my God. So
how far deep the rabbit hole shall we go?
Wow, it's fun. But that's because it's funny because we're uniting people that physically we're not near each other, but we're like the best friends that we have because we're connecting solely based on what we truly believe and what we resonate with. And it's amazing because people think, oh, the internet is the devil and the Facebook is garbage, and it's like, no, but every bad thing or everything can be used for bad, can be used for good as well. So
there's that polarity, and you're in South Carolina right now, right?
Well, no, I'm in Florida. I had to think about
it. You're in Florida.
I'm from South Carolina, and my family's up there, so I'm up there pretty often. I like to go to the healing springs up there, get that water from the healing springs. But
are you in Asheville or?
South Carolina. Okay. Asheville is in North Carolina. It's about 3 hours from my mom's house.
Okay. All right. So
you're. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Your retreat is going to be in North Carolina. It looks like Crabtree.
It's such a weird place. It's called Clyde. Like the little towns are. Okay. It's I guess it's like LA. Right beside LA, there's this, the little towns around LA. So it's kind of like. It's right outside of Asheville. It's a town called Clyde. Crabtree is there. And Crabtree, that's where that temple is, the Shri Temple.
Oh, that'd be very awesome to go to.
But I picked it because of the ley line. So I know the energy is going to be good.
Now, would people be able to spend the night there or lodging offsite or?
No, it's one big cabin. It's amazing. It's 3 stories, one big cabin. There's a fire pit outside. There's a trail. There's some individual rooms, and then there's some group rooms, and then there's like a downstairs basement with rooms. I mean,
it's beautiful. I think I'm looking at your eventbrite.com page.
The pictures that you see, that's the actual cabin.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And it is stunning.
And it's like surrounded by greenery. Surrounded by nature.
And I don't even think some of us weren't even planning on sleeping in the house. We were sleeping outside. Like, let's do it.
Wow.
I like camping. I'll sit by a fire and sleep now. So
me too.
I'm an Army girl, so I've slept in the gravel.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so very much, Erika. You're awesome. And I feel so honored to have you on.
I am so honored. That was
Thank
so
you.
cool. I just saw this beautiful woman friended me one day and I was like, oh my God. Who is she? She's amazing.
Why is she? No, but like I said, you're awesome. I mean, you have such
Thank
great
you.
energy, and you just put it out there, and you never know. You never know who it's going to affect, and you affected me, and I'm glad that we connected, and I'm going to see you again. It's like I think we're part of the same soul group.
Yes, this is the beginning. This is just the beginning. So I don't want people to be sad about vaccines or whatever is going on. Create your own reality and make it true. This is just the beginning. And it seems like, oh, COVID should be this horrible thing. But look at the beautiful things that are happening because of COVID. You know what I mean? It's forcing us into a new space. And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Live your joy, baby. Yep.
Yes. YOLO.
So,
which they say, but it's not true, is it? You do not live only once. You live a couple of times.
Like a few thousand times.
A few thousand times, yeah.
And that's just talking about here.
That's just talking about here.
That's a whole other conversation there, isn't it?
That's a whole nother.
But one that could be fun to talk about. I was like, all right, next time.
Yeah, I could tell you about my starseed journey. Yeah.
Ooh, oh, okay. All right. You said it. Let's go there. So, okay. I've been learning a lot about that starseed stuff, and I'm learning so much about Pleiadians and Arcturians and just like all these other, and I'm like, wow, it's just so we are not alone. We are not alone.
It's so much more for me to learn, but I did my starseed journey, and I went back to Lyra.
Very powerful. Wow.
And when you think of this, you think, oh, it's going to be advanced technology, and it's going to be, and it's way more natural than you think. It's not like big computer board systems. It's nothing like that. I got to fly on a dragon. Well, the amazing thing for me was that ever since I was little, I just remember one day I was about 2 or 3, and I got up and I was looking for a mark that was on my foot, and I was like, my mark is missing and I can't fly. And I was really disturbed that I could not fly. And I had a recurring dream for years and years about me flying above flowers in these beautiful fields. And I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. And I don't know why I'm here with these people, but I'm not supposed to be here. I was just like, why am I here? And I am the oddest ball in my family, just odd. And I am the isolated, the odd one. And I was the one that was always trekking off into the woods looking for berries and looking for a dragon and stuff like that. And then to finally, do a starseed journey. And
is that something you did with someone who guided you?
Yes. Also, I did that with Matthew John, and he made me go look into the mirror. So I got to describe the furniture, and then I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my gosh, I got these ears like this, and I got some eyes, and my eyes are like this, and my hair is like big and white and just crazy straight. And then I got to, I was amazed. And then, because I'm telling you, the whole time you're thinking like, this isn't what I see. But you have to be firm and start to understand, like, okay, this is your hypnosis, and this is what you see. Trust what you see. Go. And then I got to fly down the steepest hill with a dragon, and I'm just like, woo! And I felt the exhilaration in my body. It was just amazing, and
wow,
this is beautiful. I was like, oh God, I would like to do that again.
Yeah,
people can do that for themselves, and I have not got to the point where I can do that for myself yet.
Well, practice. But I think the way things are shifting, energetically for our whole planet, I think more and more of these memories are going to start coming back to all of us. It's just part of this whole shift. No matter what kind of level you're on, so. I think we all are going to start remembering more, and Lyrans are so powerful. And just there's so much I could talk about.
I feel like there's just lessons that I have to learn, and then when I'm to that point, then they'll let me through this threshold of, okay,
I think it's going to come in like a flood. You're like, okay, baby.
That's what I'm hearing. I mean, I've gotten people say, "Oh, I can see a purple aura around you," and I've seen it a couple of times, and it's just more me developing my own,
Right.
spending more time in my own meditation and spending my own time. I mean, I've got lots of ideas flowing through me, and I think it's, like, don't get distracted with this. Do what we're asking you to do right now. Okay, and then we can go back to this. So
Right.
I have to finish what's on my table first, I guess.
Well, it's all happening.
It's
all
coming.
happening.
It's definitely coming.
And you're taking initiative, and you're creating stuff like the retreat, and you're bringing people together, and that's so important too.
Yeah.
And
It might be my time to sit back and watch people use their talents. But my talent, I'm good at my talent, which is making the parties, organizing events, and doing those vision boards. So I'm working on the parts that I know that I'm good at. And then,
in the state of allowance.
Trusting that I'm on the right path, right where I'm supposed to be, right at this moment.
Well, I am grateful for that.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lana, for joining us. And
I know, and being a supportive friend, right?
Of course.
Lana's so awesome. It's like, Lana is awesome.
Proud of you, Sophie.
Well,
I know.
Well, I think you both are awesome. I think you guys would actually get along really well if when you meet, because I think you both have a lot in common. But that's another show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway,
we could do a ladies' night.
A virtual ladies' night. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Wine, get your little wine.
Yeah.
I know. I think that's the wrong symbol for wine, but no. I think I'm supposed to open my hands.
Wine is good.
And then I'll be awake by that time, and I should be my hair will be done, so I'll share my picture.
Hey.
All right. Well, have a beautiful weekend. Easter tomorrow. Ostara. Rebirth. So go out. Have a beautiful, beautiful Easter.
I'll go hang out with some trees.
Yes, I love that. All right. Well, thank you very much, Erika, and I look forward to talking to you soon. I will post this. I will put all your links in the description below on YouTube, and definitely share it. And if it just touches one person, like you had touched me, it's awesome. So,
amen. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks again.
Thank you. Love it.